Very thrilled to have you all here today. I'm also the chairwoman of the Education, Finance, and Policy Committee. Today we're going to talk about legislation that I've introduced to bring more early learning scholarships to low-income Minnesota children. Joining me today are Senator Franson, if you could just wave so people see you, Senator Franson, Senator Anderson, Allegra, Maria de la Cruz Mendez, Rob Johnson, Sarah Stebbins, and Diane Halsey. And you'll hear from each of them shortly. These are all supporters, and there are many other supporters in the room as well. And we are glad to have each one of you supporting this important initiative for our youngest learners. You know, I've been working on this since 2011. Imagine, think about that. It's been almost a decade. And as chair of the committee that is laser focused on closing achievement gaps and innovation, I am more convinced than ever that early learning scholarships need to be, they must be, a top priority. Now there's three main reasons to support scholarships. If you remember anything, remember these three top reasons. First, scholarships demand quality. Now, if Art Rolnick were here, unfortunately he's out of state today, but you know he would be the first one to remind us that if we are going to have a high return on investment, we must invest in quality programs that are using kindergarten readiness best practices. And in fact, we know that investing in low quality programs can actually hold children back. So scholarships demand quality. Second, scholarships are flexible and they are parent-driven. Parents with scholarships are empowered to select from a variety of quality options based in homes, centers, churches, schools, and nonprofits. And rather than forcing parents into a one-size-fits-all approach, scholarships empower parents to choose a program that best fits their child's needs, their location, their schedule. So for example, if a parent were working full-time, they might want a certain program that offered more full-time options. Scholarships are flexible and parent-driven. And finally, scholarships target limited funding to low-income Minnesota children whose families could not otherwise access quality programs on their own. Low-income children are most likely to fall into our achievement gaps, and so this must be our top priority. As you know, our state has a persistent achievement gap, one of the worst in the nation, and we can no longer afford to let that happen. So scholarships are income targeted, and that is not true of other learning programs. The other thing you might notice is that we have strong bipartisan support. You know, talk is cheap, and we've talked a lot about bipartisan and working on these issues that matter most to Minnesotans. Well, that's what we're doing right here. It's another reason to prioritize scholarships. Unlike other proposals, scholarships have been supported by leaders on both sides of the aisle. On the Republican side, they've been championed by leaders like me, Senator Eichhorn, Senator Anderson, who you'll hear from later, Representative Kreshaw, House Minority Leader Doudt, among many others. And on the DFL side, targeted scholarships have been championed by Senators Franson, who you'll hear from later, Senator Torres Ray, House Majority Leader Winkler, Representative Pinto, and Lieutenant Governor Flanagan, among many others. And as you'll note today, scholarships have been supported by a very diverse group, such as the Minnesota Chamber of Commerce, the Minnesota Business Partnership, a Minnesota Without Poverty, and People Serving People. Very broad, diverse groups have all come together and realized that targeted scholarships are a top priority. And it's not often that you see such broad support that we have on scholarships. And you know, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that it was Senator Dwayne Benson who first brought this scholarship idea to the Capitol and was a champion and a leader from the beginning.